one day I partied till early morning hours, and then I realized early morning that my wife and my kids were up, my two sons, and they were dressed real nicely. And I thought, where are you going? They said they're going to church. And I saw the look in my son's eyes that they wanted their father to be with them. And I told my wife, I'm coming with you to church. And she said, no, 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 we don't want you with us because you're embarrassment to us. You're still reeking of alcohol. You're not even sober. And I left with them to go to church. I took the keys and I just went with them. And as I went into the church and sat on the chair, I just started crying, but literally started crying like in the cartoons. That was just tears, and I was howling. I think I've been totally in travail, and I don't know what was preached. Even my wife, every now and then, she'll elbow me through the church. Said, why are you crying? I said, I don't know. And the people were all over looking at me the whole time. And at the end of the service, my wife just said, go to the pastor, let him pray for you. I'm picking you up in an hour's time. End of the story is the pastor asked me, he came towards me and said, who's dead? I said, nobody is dead. He said, but why are you looking like this? Why are you crying like this? I said, I don't know, but there was a voice speaking to me. And for 30 times the voice said, Etienne, stop making excuses. I have called you to full-time ministry immediately. I will always provide for you. I will always protect you. I'll always cover you. I will always guide you. Stop making excuses. And then he told me, oh, that was the Holy Spirit speaking to you. And I said, well, I don't know about that, but fine. And that I went home. My wife picked me up in an hour's time. And that afternoon, I started walking in the suburbs of our town. And at 6 o'clock that day, I walked back into the house and I called my wife and I said, Hetty, I need to share something with you. She said, what? I said, I'm going into full-time ministry. And she said, what do you know about it? You're not even saved. You don't even know Jesus. You're a drunk. You're a fighter. You're embarrassment. What is it? And who told you that? I said, God spoke to me. And he said, so when do you plan doing it? I said, well, immediately. I'm resigning tomorrow morning. She said, who's going to provide? What about school fees for the kids, medical fees, medical aids? I said, it's not my problem. Money is not my problem. God said he will do it. And so far went, and the next morning I resigned my job and I stepped into full-time ministry. Yeah.
Man, that's a crazy story. So 12 years later, if I ask you, why do you think that happened? What is your opinion on that?
You know, I always used to make excuses. And I knew as a little boy, there was something between Jesus and me. And if I looked at the relationship that my mother had with Jesus and parts of my family and the inheritance in the way in the bloodline, down in the bloodline, there were some pastors in our family and nobody really took it up. And I just always had this thing, even when I was in church, in a conservative church, I always felt the presence of Jesus there. And people in life, even when I was a drunk, people would always come to me to share their problems. And I used to give them advice and wisdom. And it always worked.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just, God basically said, this is enough. I need you now.
Faith and patience. Faith and patience. Patience means allow it to happen. Stay the same. Stay persistent. Keep going. Faith, know that it can happen at any moment. Get excited because it can happen at any moment. You were so close. Don't quit now. Keep pushing. You got this.